Hello everyone, welcome to the White Hart Lounge, episode 1, a weekly Spurs review. Hope everybody's keeping well, and this review today is what's happened in the last week at Tottenham Hotspur. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. Give us your comments on what I've said today. So let's take it back to the weekend where we had no game in the FA Cup. Really disappointed not to be involved in that conversation. Obviously, we went out on a whimper against Aston Villa a couple of weeks back, and many fans were quite relieved there was no game and they could just sit there and relax, do something else for their weekend. But there's part of me which was really quite disappointed, really, because we haven't won that FA Cup since 1991, and another year where we've not done anything, and so it's quite disappointing for me. But I get it. This season has been one disappointment after the other, and I get the fans wanting to kind of have a break from Spurs one weekend. There'd been a lot of games leading up to that point, 2-3 games a week. So let's move on to this week ahead now. All eyes onto that AZ game on the Thursday. A lot of fans are really hoping that this is a competition that we can win. The season has been awful out of both domestic cups, sitting 13th in the league. So many defeats, so many disappointments. And there were many fans who feel that we can win this competition. The bookies say we're favourites. Don't understand that why. We've had a dreadful season. And I don't get certain fans' expectations or optimism. It's really hard because we're not a good footballing side under Ange. We're not functioning well. It's not been a good season, and I get it. We all have to live in hope, supporting our club, and that's the only competition we're left in. And I guess that it is really more hope than anything, because we're just not a good footballing side. So as I said, all eyes were on there. We saw Anne's press conference on Wednesday where he was quite what's the word of it? He was quite irritated by some of the questions from the press, talking about Basuma. I questioned him that he was on holiday, questioning about Van der Ven, Romero, when they're coming back, are they going to be involved on the game on Thursday? He didn't really give a lot away, other than that both of them and Solanke as well were training with the first team. Didn't say they were going to start or be involved, and he just said we'll see what happens. When I was listening to that press conference, he didn't inspire me. It wasn't like a rally call saying like, this competition, we're going to really go for it. He talked about it, but he didn't really give you any kind of hope that, or confidence that we were really going to win this competition. And look, don't get me wrong, I haven't got any confidence in this manager or team. But you have a listen. You think he's going to kind of give some kind of some speech to kind of rally the team, give the fans some optimism. But again, as we've been hearing from Ange all season, more waffle. So myself, leading up to this game, I had a good look at AZ. They're an organised team. They've won 10 out of 11 games at home. They know what they're doing. They play with 2 defensive midfielders. Their fullbacks play wide, wingers play wide. Troy Parrott's having a good season for them. He's their top goal scorer. And they just knocked out Ajax out of the domestic competition. And they were in some better form. Yes, they had lost that weekend in their league, but other than that, they've been performing quite well. They knocked Galatasaray out of the knockout, the playoff match, which was a really good result for them. And I thought it would be a real tough fixture. Any team we come across who are organised, know what they're doing, have a game plan, we struggle against. And that being the first leg away from home, I did think that we would get a narrow defeat. But when we saw this game, and let's just start off with the lineup. Obviously, Van der Ven and Romero weren't involved at all. Obviously, they're on the bench. Danso Gray at the back. Spence right back, which we've all been asking for. Doggy left back. Bentancur, Bergvall and Maddison in midfield with Tell, Son and Johnson. So it's a good, strong team. And the bench had Van der Ven, Romero, Solanke, Wilson, Basuma, Sarr. There was a lot of options on the bench to change the game if required. So look, we saw how this game went, guys, right? It was a shocking first half. I'm not going to talk too much about it. AZ were clearly the better side. They created some chances. Vakaro made a great save from Parrott. Then obviously they scored it was the own goal from Bergvall, but they did deserve their lead. I felt they were attacking us, putting together some good moves, and we offered literally nothing in that first half. So disappointing. Tell was particularly poor, didn't get involved in the game at all. But you could say that against all the team. We just didn't look like we were doing anything. I mean, none of our players were getting beyond, any midfielders or Tell. They weren't getting beyond the defence of AZ. We couldn't get in behind. It was just no movement, a lack of idea. And it was a truly, truly poor first half. Very disappointed. And AZ did deserve their 1-0 advantage, and we were quite unfortunate. It was only 1-0 at half time. So you're thinking, look, Ange, you've got to have a right go at these players. They ain't turned up today. You've got to do something. You made a change. You took off Tell. So Wilson came on and went left wing. Some went up front. But did it change our performance? No, it didn't. AZ continued to push, looked very in control of the game. They weren't amazing, AZ, I didn't think. That they did attack us, but they created some chances. But there was a good save from Vicario again, but it was also comfortable from AZ. Ange made some more changes around the 75 minute. Guess who he took off again? Maddison. Took Maddison off, and we all heard what Maddison. We didn't hear, but we lip read what he was saying on the bench to Son. Let me tell you now. I've got it. What he said. Well, what people think he said, what you could see. And normally when players are talking on the bench, they're kind of covering their mouth like this, but it was, you could clearly see what he was trying to say. So let me just bring that up for you in a second. It was something like, we always play the same way, something like that. And it's very telling. The players, for me, they didn't look motivated. There was no kind of style of play. There was no plan. We didn't look like we wanted it. There was no effort. And this is the last 16 tie, guys. This is the last competition we're in, or we can do anything. And the players just didn't look like they were bothered. Going back to what I said, like I did think we would lose the game, and we did, and it was a narrow defeat. And that's given us a chance next week at home, and I think we probably will go through. Just being at home, the crowd behind us, surely we can't put that another stinker of performance in again. But our home form this season, guys, has not been great. So AZ, they've got something to hang on to. They're going to have to put on a really, really good performance against us on Thursday. Are we going to be up for it? Are we going to be motivated? Who knows? I was furious, to be honest, after that loss. I was so down with that performance. We didn't offer anything at all. One shot on target the whole game. I went on to a show and discussed the game at the end. And literally, we're all saying the same thing week in, week out, with same issues, same problems. And it's just another shocking performance, not just in Europe, but just most of the season we've been dreadful. Really, really dreadful. So disappointing. And Ange came out with the same excuses again. Well, not same excuses, more excuses. He's blaming the pitch. He said that we didn't show enough aggression. We were too passive. Ange, like, what were you doing the last 8 days leading up to that match? Players could rest. You could have put a game plan together. It just literally looked like nothing. There was no preparation going into that game, and we saw a dire performance. And as I said, we were lucky only to lose 1-0, and we still got a chance to get through. But let's be real, guys. As soon as we come up against a better side, if we perform like that away from home, say like at an Ajax or Frankfurt, we'll be out. We'll be out. I can't see anything changes in the short term. Look, the reaction on social media, fans very, very, very unhappy, calling Ange out, had enough. Some people have given up altogether. They're sick of this season, and I am one of them. It really, really got me yesterday, and I had to come off the stream I was doing early because I had nothing to say, and it's exhausting. exhausting talking about the same thing. It was like my video, which I did yesterday, was end this insanity now. You know, rinse and repeat the same thing and getting the same results. And for me, I've been calling for him to be sacked for a long, long time now. Even the fans who have been behind Ange are really turning now. They've had enough. There's not many left who really believe in this manager and think he's the man to lead us forward. Spurs, they should have, and this is my opinion, should have sacked Ange a couple of months ago, got in a decent manager who can organise this team and really given us a good go in this Europa League. I have no faith that performances are going to improve. Got no faith in Ange getting the most out of these players. And as I said, they look so unmotivated right now, and there's just so many issues with this team. Moving ahead to Bournemouth at the weekend, guys. Ange has been talking about that game. Let me give you some quotes of what he's been saying. So, Ange, it was a question around consistency and not seeing free-flowing football in the last few games. Now, where is this entertaining football gone? That's disappeared. I mean, we can all question if it was entertaining in the first place. Entertaining for the neutral, the back and forth, the goals he scored, the amount of goals we conceded, the amount of chances that we give to teams. We're so naive. Thinking back against that Manchester City game, last week, where that first half we should have been absolutely destroyed, and it was an awful first half performance. So he goes on to say, if you take away when we beat Ipswich 4-1 a couple of weeks ago and a second half against City, we were really, really good against a very good team. But when you're inconsistent like we are, people pick moments and verbally look at your lowest points as your reference point. If you look at last night, that was nowhere near the level we need to be. We've had that kind of performance a few times this year, a bit more than that, mate. And it's what has cost us more than anything, the inconsistency. We need to rectify it. Yeah, look, you can talk the talk, and but the team are not performing for you. I'm not seeing anything from you as a manager to improve our performances, and it's all well and good saying all this stuff, but you need to put it into action. What else does he go on and say? Let me read it out to you. There's a couple of more. So Ange goes on to say now they're asking him more about the inconsistency this season. He says inconsistency has come from not having a consistent lineup. It's about consistency in performance, not raising our worst level. Last night was a reflection of where we are. There are different ways of tackling those challenges, and that at the bare minimum we compete and get the baseline performances up. We definitely need another game to get the squad where we need to get to. Last night's disappointment. The best way is to move it right up put it right at the weekend. I still want us to move up the table. So basically saying that, because there's been the injuries, the team haven't been able to play consistently well together, and more excuses from Ange again, eh? He's not blaming injuries now. Now he's blaming that the team ain't been together and playing together and haven't been able to consistently play well. Yeah, guys, it's not. It doesn't inspire you, give you any hope that anything is going to get better. As I said a little while ago, the players look like they have they've given up playing under this manager. He did go on to talk about the Bournemouth manager, which I'll tell you now. He said, let's tell you. He said they've been really good, and they were last year too. Ariola has a real distinct way of playing. They're really aggressive with the football and without. They've got some very good players who are developing under them. Good challenge for us. As I said, it's a clear objective that we need to play well if you want to get the result that we want. Guys, give us your thoughts on that Bournemouth match. I'm not hopeful myself. I've got to be honest. I think Bournemouth have had a really good season. They've beaten some good sides. Lost 7 games. I know they lost a couple recently. They've had a few injuries as well, but managed to cope okay. They went over to St James's Park and smashed them 4-1, which was an amazing result. You never have any confidence that Ange Spurs would do something like that. There were a few points from the top 4. Do I think they'll make the top 4? Probably not. But I think they've got a really good chance to get to a European position and thoroughly deserve it. They're a good team. They've already beaten us this season already 1-0, where they should have scored more. Um, when you watch Bournemouth, even when they have injuries, one player comes out, another one slots in. They all know what they're doing. They've got a game plan. And I think on Sunday, we're going to have a very tough game against Bournemouth. I think they will test us. We're not playing well. We've come off a really pathetic performance. How are these players that are going to lift themselves for this game? Andrew will probably be, it'll be a different lineup due to the game on Thursday. Will we see Van der Ven? Will we see Romero get some minutes in their legs? What's happening with Solanke? Look, I don't know anymore, really. I just don't know what sort of performance it's going to put out. It's probably going to be another one where we'll huff and puff. And Bournemouth being a good side, know what they're doing. I think they'll win. I really do. I think they will beat us. I don't think it will be a big score line, but I just think we're just looking clueless at the moment. I go into watching any game with no confidence. We might have bursts of attacking football or trying to score and put pressure on Bournemouth, but I don't have any confidence in that forward line. Our forward line just does not function well at all. Whoever's playing, the forward line we have is just bang average. Let's be real here. It's bang average. The level of signings that we've been bringing in are just not good enough. Yeah, always looking to get players on the cheap, buying players from the Championship, buying players who are in relegation teams. Yeah, cutting wages. Yeah, getting putting players on with cheaper wages. The plan at Spurs is not to succeed on the football pitch. They're trying to do it on the cheap. Yeah, they're supposed to be making so much money, this club, and they decide to always cut costs, lower the wage bill, and it's just not good enough. And it just stinks of a team. Just they just don't want. I'm just trying to think of the word. They just don't want to win. The board, they do not want to truly challenge. And we've got an awful manager. We've got an awful board. And bring on those protests. I hope they keep coming. There's one on the 6th of April where I'm hoping to get down there. And this has gone on for far too long. Look, everybody must see what's going on. It's clearly there with the recruitment. They're not paying the wages for the top players. This club, they just don't know what they're doing on the football pitch. There's just no ambition. Ambition's the word. 24 years of failure. How long can this go on for, guys? How long can you, as a Spurs fan, put up with this? And I said again, do something about it. Get down to the protest if you can. Sing Levy out in the game. Do not buy any food or stuff in the stadium. Try not to go to the club shop and spend any money. Make your own stand with this. The club need to change, and they need to do something differently. In my ideal world, they'll sell and get a new owner in and come in and want to win on the pitch. We want to see our owners trying to win. Get a good coach in, back them with 3 or 4 top players every transfer window, break the wage structure, show the ambition that we want. We're a big club. We've got a big history. We've got a massive fan base, and we're just crying out for some sort of success. We want to win. We're just starved of any success. Guys, give us your thoughts on the protests. Do you believe in the protests? Are you going to get involved in the protests? What's your own way of protesting? It'll be interesting to find out. Give us your thoughts on the manager. Even if you're still behind him. I know many fans like to put more the blame on Levy and the recruitment rather than the manager, but there's been no progression, just regression this season, and we're on course for one of the worst finishes in years. We're on course for, I say, 19-20 defeats, which is the worst since 2003 and 1991-92 season. I've never seen a manager this bad for years, probably going back to the 90s. Possibly Christian Gross, but I think there's a stat there that Christian Gross has got a better record than Ange. I don't know about that. But yeah, Ange is, it's not worked. And as I said, they should have sacked him a couple of months ago. Got in a manager, come in, get this team playing, get some organisation, get some confidence in the team, and really try and push on and get that Europa League. But under Ange, I just can't see us going anywhere. And the season is almost done now. It is almost done. There's literally nothing to play for. This is going to be now, we're not, unless we win that Europa League, it's going to be not being in Europe 2 seasons out of 3. You can clearly, that is clear evidence of a decline in the team. We don't have any of those players anymore who can get your bum off your seat. Any kind of exciting players that you look forward to watching week in, week out. Where have these players gone, guys? Where have they gone? What's going on? What's happened to our wonderful club? And having Ange and Levy there, recipe for failure. Guys, give us your thoughts on the video. Give us your predictions on the Bournemouth game. Give us the predictions on the return match against AZ. Do you feel that we're going to get through? Are you just giving up completely? Do you have any hope that we can go further in this competition? Thank you for listening. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. I'll be back for episode 2 next week. Take care of yourselves. Try and enjoy your weekend. Spurs are playing. Oh dear, could be another defeat. More disappointment. It's not good enough, guys. It's not. I'll be back. Take care, as I said. And come on, you Spurs.